I love virgins. No, I'm meaning that came out wrong.
Wow, please let that be the clip. Caroline Ray's on this week. I love virgins. This is what I think about you. I was watching your specials. My nephew's been obsessed with you for a very long time. And it's very hard being a comedian and having a member of your family that you love so much, not that you're not their favorite comedian. You know what I mean? That you're his. And then the fact that my 14-year-old daughter, her favorite comedian is Nick Kroll. So I'm not even in the top 3 of family members. So she was like, he would quote you. He would talk about you. He's also a Scorpio. He went to Syracuse. He actually manages Curtis Connor with another guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's great. He's the greatest.
Oh, wow.
Love. I adore him. And he's been obsessed with you. So when I was watching your specials, I thought, if I was a reviewer as a woman, I would write, this is the closest it will ever feel like to being inside a ball sack. Like that, I've never felt more like, oh my God, from the inside out, this is what it's like to be a hairy guy who's really fearless and consuming life at such enormous, the way you did that charity event. You were just like, I'm going to buy every ticket. Tell me what I won. It was the best way to have a charity.
Do you know, my new special's out next Tuesday?
Oh my God. And, how many are there? I'm very impressed with you. Good Lord.
My new special comes out Tuesday, and the very first time I ever did that raffle bit is in that special.
Oh, it is?
It's the very first time I ever did it. And I still, to this day, I'll tell that. And then I have my favorite one was when I did it with you, because your reaction was so, you go, this can't be Bert. I go, it's Bert. I want the jacket.
And then you couldn't fit the jacket.
I couldn't fit in the jacket. It was, I love doing that more than anything is flooding a raffle.
Oh my God. It was the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, you should see me at auctions. At auctions, I get out of control. My daughters had one up at their school. It's an all-girls Catholic high school. Mm-hmm. And Sister Donna said, I've heard rumors about this. I want to sit next to you and watch it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it rain on Sister Donna. She doesn't know what's about to happen. So the first trip that came up was
a sin, by the way.
The first trip that came up was Cabo San Lucas. And I said, Sister Donna, you ever been to Cabo San Lucas? And she said, no. And I said, $10,000. We're sending the nuns to Cabo. The place went nuts. Sister Donna's like, I bought all the trips. I bought all the trips because the money is I like giving money to charity. It goes to a good place. And so I got a trip to Bali, a trip to Cabo, a trip to Montana. We got a place up in Big Bear for the weekend. I just bought them all. And then I was like...
And the school loves you, and the nuns love you.
The schools loves me. Parents get upset because they want to get a deal on stuff.
Right.
And I pay the full price, what it's worth. So...
you ruined the fun for them.
But then I bought, I was telling someone I bought...
God, that's so good.
I got, I think 3 tennis bracelets at the last one. Uh-huh. And diamond earrings. But you get, on the jewelry, you get a real deal.
Right.
I got to be honest with you, you could clean up.
I'm an auctioneer. Do you know that?
No.
For when I had my daughter, I was like, I'm not going on the road anymore. And I do that. I'm like a professional auctioneer.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
How did that happen?
Because I was like, I'm not going to go on the road. I don't want to leave her, but I can still make a lot of money doing this. It's much better to be a funny auctioneer than a serious auctioneer.
Yeah.
And then you find a Bert in the audience and you look like a fucking genius. I mean,
you want to hear
I've bought a lot of stuff at auctions. I sent my mother and my aunt on the QE2 to all the way around Europe in first class seating for $800 because nobody was bidding on it.
Because no one bids on it.
And it was $25,000.
All right, that would be a TV show. I could just go into auctions.
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
The hardest I've ever laughed, and there's a lot of times I tried to quantify. Yesterday was one of them. But I was doing a travel channel show called Trip Flip, and where you took people on adventures of a lifetime, and it was somewhat immersive. And so we ran Buffalo across Texas with this guy, John, I forget his last, John Pope. And and he asked me and there's 2 travelers I had to take cattle in for auction and to sell his cattle at auction. So we have a truck full of cattle and young cattle. And I say to the guys, I go, I said, well, how much do you want us to come back with? And he was like, ultimately $25,000. I said, I'm coming back with $50,000, John. And he goes, I don't know how you're doing that. And I said to the guys, what's going to happen is when his cattle come through, I'm going to throw up the first bid so I can jack up the price to all his cattle because I know it's his cattle. And so I'll jack it up so everything's going to be doubled. And they're like, that's a brilliant idea.
Oh, God.
So the first cattle comes through and I go, these John's cattle, here we go. And I raise my hand and the guy goes, sold to Trip Flip. And I went, huh? I bought a $1,300 calf. And I could not stop laughing because I was like, what did I just do? I thought there would be more action. It is the hardest. It is one of the hardest. Hey, can you pull that up? Does that video on YouTube? The look on my eyes. As a comic, I think that as comics, the thing we love is like the little small moment where you go, that is real. You can't change that. That's real. And the look on my eyes when I realize what I've done is like, I wish I could go back to that one moment.
Do you have that calf now?
I sold it back to the guy at a loss. I drove home with one calf. And I go, I got bad news for you. And he goes, what? And I said, I bought one of your calf. He goes, no, you didn't. I said, John.
What happened to the rest?
I sold the rest. I didn't bid on any of the ones. They buy them, but everyone just goes like.
Did you get 25 grand?
A little less. And then I brought it back and I said, I need to.
And you know what? That's the worst kind of auctioneering because they're going to go in the bill.
Yeah. There, watch it. Watch the look on my face. Grab the headphones. This is, you can just put one to your ear. You don't have to put them over your ears. But
Kreischer, I'll be your host all day. First cattle coming in. Ooh, she's a big heifer at a 115. Do I got a 115?
That's me.
Over there.
Used to be cuter.
Gentlemen, nothing, no cattle for you, huh?
I'm not the best auctioneer. So this is my brilliant plan.
Here's my game plan. First cows that come out are John's. And jack up the price. I like it.
And these are your two guys you're taking on the adventure?
All right, key buyers, get around. Here we go. Showtime.
Watch the look on my eyes.
You accidentally buy one. I'm not going to buy one. Don't worry. There we go. Wow. Okay, this is going really quick. Ready? Here we go.
Hey, I'm on Trip Flip. Sold it. $2.90 by the pound. I'm on Trip Flip. Let me Trip Flip.
This is the hardest I've ever laughed.
Let's get out of here. This
is the hardest I've ever laughed. When I go out, I go, how much did I spend? I couldn't even tell how much I spent.
like $1,000 maybe.
I swear to God, I can laugh at myself laughing. I can laugh. What's the hardest you've ever laughed? Like the hardest you've ever laughed?
I did not buy a calf. Oh God, I've laughed so many times.
Because you are a laugher.
Oh God, I'm a huge laugher.
So that's what I was drawn to you when I first saw you do stand up.
That I was laughing at my own act.
No, but that you were joyous.
Yeah, because I find it so much fun.
Yeah.
And the hardest, I was doing an off-Broadway play, and it was a ridiculous thing. We had to play 9 different characters, and we were playing prostitutes in Amsterdam behind the glass, and we had to do a strip. And I had to go actually to a strip club in New York. And somebody sent me over a lap dance. I'm like, oh, this is totally embarrassing. And there was this like girl who's like doing a lap dance, and I'm like, what's your birthday? and oh, what sign are you? Like, I'm trying to, and she's like, April 13th. I'm like, oh my God, that's my birthday. And she's literally grinding on me. She's like, Aunt Hilda was my favorite. I'm like, ah! So I learned how to do this striptease, and I was doing it, and we had to take our clothes off, but all the while we were talking about Apple Brown Betty recipes. That's what we were doing. That was the part of the play, like that. And I got something caught and I was pinned to it, and Whoopi was in the audience, and it was one of those awful you can't laugh moments.
Yeah.
It's just tears streaming down my face, just like. Anyway,
the
that's the only time that I've ever laughed on stage when I'm not supposed to, in a play. I've like peed in my pants many times from full on hysterical laughter.
Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Oh God, I mean, it's so lucky, right? Like that's your job.
I often think my dad doesn't get to laugh like I do, and when my dad laughs, it is you unleash chaos. Like he does what I do, where he starts going. The hardest I ever made him laugh was I bought.
You bought a cap.
No, this was a bit. I ended up telling you it was a bit. My wife said she wanted pajamas for Christmas.
Oh, I love the pajama story.
And I bought her 7 pairs of pajamas.
Yeah, no,
she got some pajamas too. But his eyes did this, and he went. Oh, and he was crying, laughing, and I didn't get it. That's the other funny thing about comedy is like when the other person isn't trying to be funny,
right?
And you get yesterday, I was with Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, and they said, "Have you seen the Louis bit where he goes into the Holocaust Museum and hits the button?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And they go, "You got to watch it. It's pretty funny." And so it's pretty funny in that it is the essence of comedy. This is what I love about Louis is that he goes to hit the button and Pamela Adlon goes, "Do not hit that button." And he goes, "Why not?" It says press. And she goes, "Oh, don't do it." And he hits it and it just says the N-word. And the whole place looks at Louis and he goes, "It was the button." And Brian Callen says, "Man, you couldn't get away with that now." I go, "You couldn't get away with it then." I go, "You're not allowed to do it then." But Brian's look about being noble of going, "You couldn't get away with that now." Like he wanted to talk about society and the change. And I go, "You couldn't do it then. What the fuck are you talking about?" Those moments just fucking,
I'm trying to think because I really have laughed recently. Like,
does your daughter make you laugh?
Yeah, my daughter's really, really funny. I've cried my makeup off with laughing on sets.
Really?
And then many times on Sabrina, I would laugh so hard that I would have to go back into makeup. Do
you look back at that time in your life? What's the funnest time in your life? Not right now. Can't you go right now? You go like, God, I would love to do that again. Like my first TV show, I didn't realize how lucky I was.
What was your first TV show?
It was called The X Show on FX. And it was with Gary Valentine and Daphne Brogdon and this guy, Craig Jackson. And I didn't realize how lucky I was to have a TV show and have a big crew that I knew every day. And you'd show up on set and there was catering and everyone went to lunch together and everyone on Thursday nights went to the Formosa Cafe. And some old grip told me, one day you'll look back at this and realize how lucky you are. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I look back.
How old were you when you did it?
I was 27, 28 maybe. I was 27 probably.
You know what? My mother really like drilled it into us. Appreciate every moment and appreciate your parents. No, we're not going to be here forever. Appreciate it all. So I've always been really conscious of like, this is incredibly fun what I am doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like appreciative. Sabrina was strangely very hard work because we worked like 5 days a week. We never saw the show. I never watched the show until my daughter turned 7.
Really?
And then we would watch an episode every night. And then I called Melissa Joan Hart. I was like, "You were so good on this show. I totally get it. This show is so adorable and appealing. We have terrible outfits, but you know, it's so fun." And then I think actually COVID completely, I thought, okay, I might never get to do stand-up again. That was what had occurred to me. And then I sort of was like, okay. And then I got COVID and I survived and it wasn't so bad. And then I was like racing to the stage. And now I've sort of completely fallen in love, I would say, in the last year with stand-up all over again.
Really?
Like I've thrown myself back on the road. I'm touring all the time. I'm not going to big giant clubs. I'm just going, I have like a new special. I made a new hour. And that is like, I hate to say it, but this is pretty fun. But the day my daughter was born, the world went to Technicolor. I mean, that's the most fun I've ever had.
I look back at those days, like when I had the babies, and I go, I'd go back to then. I go back to Monday nights. Monday nights we had a nanny. My wife worked and I was on the road, and so we had a nanny like 2 days a week. I think almost the whole week, but if I was on the road. But with the days that I was there, she wasn't there. But if I was on the road Thursday and Friday, she'd show up. And Monday night, I'd fly in Monday, and the nanny would be there, and they were the coolest. We had 3 nannies who all knew each other, and we got like progressively got them. And what would happen is on Monday nights, at one point they would all show up. Because they all knew each other, and they would all show up, and we'd all go to Ralph's, take the girls, and we get food for Monday Night Football. And Leanne would come home at 5. Monday Night Football started at 5:30, and I'd make a huge dinner for everyone. It was like the fucking great, no health concerns whatsoever. Like literally going like drink all day, drink all night,
right.
Wake up the next morning, play tennis. Like it was those were like the fun days.
Yeah, those days are magical when they're really little and you have like that, whatever your group is of best friends and have all those. I was reminding when my daughter was like, she was maybe 2.5. She couldn't say, when they can't say certain letters.
Yeah.
And she couldn't say L's and she couldn't say R's at the time. And we went to Italy and it was the first time I ever gave her ice cream. And she literally was like down, I can't think, the most famous street in Rome. And I'd given her gelato and she like was chanting, ice cream, like down the street, like ice cream. Like this is the greatest thing in the world. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to buy her something really Italian. So we went into the store and I had my daughter at 44. She's like miracle baby, right?
Really?
Yeah. And I'm 38 now, Bert. So that's the best thing about being in California. They can't do math. So she would when she was about 8, she came home from school and she goes, I learned this new word today. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And I go, what is it? And she goes, N-O. And I go, no, you've never heard it. That's why you can't pronounce it. So when she was really little, she'd just go like this, want it. And they steal everything and put it in the baby stroller and you leave the store and you're like, oh, you took so much stuff. I'll have to return it eventually. So we were in this store in Italy and she goes like this. She goes, we got her a Hello Kitty clock. That's what she wanted. Want it. And so I was with her and my daughter's 6 feet tall. So at the time she's just this very long baby. And she's like draped across me and like 3 Italians just asleep. It's like 2:30 in the morning. And she wakes up and she goes, Mommy! In that way that I've like missed something major. And she goes, Mommy, big pink cock, want it. Big pink cock, want it. I was like, oh my God. And you can't go to your child. And all these judgy Italians were like, oh, disgusting. And then she had a frog clock that she loved also. And she was like, fuck cock, big pink cock. And I'm like, oh, toddler Tourette's right over here. And then her best friend across the hall in New York, he couldn't say R's and he loved Percy the train. So he'd be like, want to play with Pussy? And she's like, big pink cock. And I'm like, this is so awful.
Pussy cock.
But it was so like their little, I don't know. Everything about it was just divine.
The girls, I flew with
I would go back to those days.
I flew with the girls from Tampa to LA without Leanne.
Oh God. And what age?
They were, I'm going to have to guess they were wearing, they were out of diapers.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna say, let's just say
that's a good time.
Let's say 4 and 2 or 3 and 5, right around there.
Yeah, and horrible to travel.
Horrible.
But
I got it locked down. I got iPads set up. I got them in nightgowns. It's I got everything set up. I got them all locked in. Right. I feel good. I have great noise reduction, like custom in-ear monitors. So I can't hear a thing. Everyone's dialed in. I put my headsets in. I grab a double jack on the rocks. We're done. I got it. All of a sudden, this woman next to me taps me and goes, is that like this? I can't see what you're saying. I pull out one in-ear monitor. I go, I'm sorry. She goes, your daughter? And I said, yes, those are my daughters. And I put it back in. She goes, your daughter? And I pull it out and I go, excuse me? She goes, are those your daughters? I said, yes, they're my daughters. And as I put it back in, she taps me and she goes, your daughters need you. I take the other ear out. And as I turn, Georgia at the top of her lungs is going, I threw up in my vagina. I threw up in my vagina. I threw up in my vagina. She had thrown up into her panties and that's where it landed. And I was like, fuck. Flight attendant came over. I can't handle this. I don't know what to do. If I throw up, I'm going to throw up. She goes, we've got it. I walked up. They cleaned up Georgia. I was like, I don't know what to do. The flight attendant came back with another double jack on the rocks. She goes, it shouldn't happen again. I think you're going to be fine. I was like, motherfucker. Yeah. I threw up in my vagina.
I remember the thing when they're little is the period of time, that grace period between I'm going to throw up and they're throwing up they're non-existent.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to throw up. Like they're doing it. And my nephew, we were going to the Harry Potter premiere And I had a talk show at the time. So I was had to go and meet Daniel Radcliffe. He was going to be on the show the next day. And I remember that I knew I was ready to have children because my nephew, my little one, Robbie, who's, 20-something now, turned to me and said, Auntie Carol, I'm going to throw up, and then just threw up all over me. And I had to, can you pull over? And then I had to just clean myself up in a 7-Eleven. And then I'm sure everyone who met me was like, oh God, she smells like baby puke. Isn't it nice?
How old's your daughter now?
My daughter's 14.
That's when they turn, huh?
Oh, she's given me so many good jokes, but this might be my favorite. Having a 14-year-old and being a comedian, it really feels like the Heckler followed me home from the club.
Oh.
That's not funny. Ew, yeah. What happened to your face? Nothing. Can I please pluck your eyebrows? You're haunting. Don't touch me. You look scary when you smile. I'm going to cry. Don't cry. You're not a victim. I'm like, oh my God. But she's so sweet and loving, but it's the barrage. How old are yours?
I don't know. 16 and 18. George is.
Oh, they're already 16 and 18.
Yeah, George is in college, and Isla. My parent.
I was going to name our daughter Isla.
Really?
After the island, Islay. That's where we're from.
Oh no, mine's named after a drunk aunt Leanne had.
Wait, Isla?
Just ILA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she is running buckshot over my mom. My parents are in town because Leanne's in Vietnam, and she is running.
Why is Leanne in Vietnam?
She's girls trip. Her and her friends went to Vietnam. One of her friends does business in Vietnam, and her mother-in-law is one of the most famous Vietnamese women. Did you ever see the movie When Heaven and Earth Change Places? No. Heaven and Earth. It's an Oliver Stone movie about Vietnam.
That's what happens to me when I wear Spanx. Good night, everybody. With my kidney and liver. Okay, sorry.
No.
She's in Vietnam.
She's in Vietnam, and Isla has not gone to school in 3 days. This morning I get up and I'm going out to work out, and my mom's like, Isla's staying home again today, and I go, Mom, and she goes, my mom didn't want to drive on the 101, so she's like, you know what? She's not feeling well. Leanne comes home tomorrow. I'll let Leanne deal with all this. And I was like, oh. So then I get a text from Leanne in the Seoul airport. She's like, did Isla really stay home again? And I was like, yeah. She stayed home for the whole week. She stayed home.
Is she sick or is she just not going?
She's got my mom. My mom just is.
Is your mom here all the time?
No, my mom and dad are out here for this week, and then they go back. I've been living with them. They're staying at my house.
Enjoy every second of it. I don't have my parents anymore. I literally cried the other day. How much I miss my mother.
Can you text me that tonight at dinner?
Yeah. Just be patient. Be patient. You know what it is? It's an opportunity to show compassion every time you see a parent.
I'm going to enjoy that. My dad and I got into an argument.
How old are
they? Old. No, 75.
Okay, that's not old.
Yeah, they're 75. My dad.
Who are you? Who are you? Are you more like mom or dad?
As a parent, I'm definitely. I am more like my mom, but as a parent, I emulate my dad.
Isn't it weird? We're either completely emulate our parent or it's 180.
Yeah.
I always get that wrong. Is it 180 or 360? 360, you're all the way back around, so you'd emulate. Okay, yeah. 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
360. She did a total 360. You mean she's standing exactly where she was?
Exactly. I mean, I did the complete turnaround. Yeah.
My dad. I hope he never hears this, but this is what happened last night.
I'm sure he will never hear it.
I'm hoping.
I did a joke that my dad didn't like. He didn't speak to me for a year.
Really? Mm-hmm. What was the joke?
When my parents got divorced, my mother just said, your father won't be home for dinner ever again. And then I said, and Christmases are awful when you have divorced parents because, we'd be sitting around the phone on Christmas Day and I'd have to call my father and my sisters and I would go, ask him if he got the shirt. Ask him if he liked my present. And my mother would always say, ask him if he's happy. He ruined our lives. And he would always say, no, yes.
No, yes.
Anyway, he's dead now, so he can't get mad at me, but he would. Okay.
How did he pass?
I had lung cancer.
Oh, hold on.
My.
Did your mom have cancer too?
Yeah.
How the fuck do I know that?
Because
was your mom an obstetrician?
No, my dad was.
And your mom was a gynecologist?
No, that's hilarious. An obstetrician gynecologist like that. No,
wait, how am I guessing this?
Because my mother was.
I must have seen it in your act.
I'm sorry. Yeah. But then you also ran into me.
I'm sitting here going, how the fuck do I know this?
Because you ran into me once and I was in like 37H on the airplane, and you were in first class, and you came back and you said, "You're the real deal. You're the real fucking deal, Caroline." And I was like, "That's so nice of you. That's so nice of you. I'm here in the toilet, and then you're flying the plane, Bert." Okay, you were in first class.
I was probably drunk.
And it was when I was taking care of my mom, so that could have very well been what it was.
So
anyway.
my dad. So I get off the road.
So you're like your dad.
I'm like my dad. I'm like my dad.
Is he funny?
Yes, but not.
Where is the unbridled joy from?
My mom.
Yeah.
My mom.
My mom too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said to Peter the other day. So I this is a little. It's everything you need to know, but it explains the fight. When we were in tour in Europe, my trainer and my assistant said, "Don't eat that. You've had enough," and it triggered something in me, and I lost it. I didn't not lost it, yelled, but I said, "No one ever tells me what the fuck to do. Don't ever tell me what to do. Don't ever tell me what to eat. I'll eat everything. If you tell me not to eat that, I'll order 9 pizzas and I'll eat all of them just to fucking spite you." And
right.
it was
because I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, I am a Scorpio, and so it was a little off-putting for them, and they were like, "But we all figured it out. It was fine." So my dad, I get off tour. I've been touring pretty aggressively. And I'm with my trainer, and I get on the scale yesterday, and I weighed in at 261. And my trainer was like, "Okay, that's where we're starting." And she goes, "I bet a lot of it's inflammation." And my dad goes, "Whoa, hold on. I got to tell you what to eat. I got to control him. And tonight we're eating nothing. We're eating nothing tonight." And it is where that trigger that happened on the bus in Europe, and they saw it. And my assistant was like, got in the car to go do radio after that. And he was
Were you non-reactive to that?
I shut down.
Okay.
And so he goes, "I completely understand what happened now in Europe, that your dad does that." And I said, "Yeah." I said, I can't say anything to him. I can't just bite my tongue, but I can't have other people do it to me also. So then yesterday I get on the scale and I lost 5 pounds. And my dad goes, "It's a lot of water weight, buddy." And I go, and Peter's like, "What? Like, holy shit." So last night I tell him, I said, "I'm feeling good. I'm doing good with my health. And this is his biggest concern." And I said, "I lost 5 pounds." And he goes, "Well, yeah." And I go, "Hold on." I go, "Why don't you just celebrate it?" And then that was the beginning of the argument. So I said, I said, and then.
What's his weight like?
So when he was doing very well in life, he got up to 270. And so he thinks this is indicative of our DNA, is that when you're doing good, you start eating a lot and drinking a lot.
Well, if it was medieval times, yes, but not now.
Yeah. So and so now he's like 220. He's maybe 210. He's got the gout, so that's messing with him. And so there's a lot going on in his head, and I think he's always concerned about my health.
So you both have like hot points about weight. What is your relationship to weight?
I've never considered myself fat, and it's so crazy. I don't see myself as fat.
I don't see you as fat at all.
You should tell the internet that.
Dear internet.
No, but I grew up very in shape, always very, very athletic. And
what were your sports as a kid?
Baseball was my sport.
And how tall are you?
6'1".
Okay.
And so I never saw myself as fat. I hung out with an actress one time whose husband was a really big action star. And I think anyone can figure out who this is. But she said, what's interesting about him is that he was fat as a kid. So he always thinks he's fat. Like he'll always be that fat kid.
Eyes. Yeah.
And I go, really? And so I think I have the opposite, where I was skinny as a kid. So I always see myself as skinny. I always see myself in shape. I look at my good parts. Like I tried to do that to my wife.
That's good.
Well, yeah, I look at my shoulders and I go, God, I look great. I don't look at my belly. I don't look at my thighs. I look at my shoulders and I go, I'm looking good. I told my wife that. She goes, I don't like my body. And I said, just look at your tits.
Just get a mirror that ends at the shoulders.
Yeah.
You don't need a full body.
No.
That was my joke in like 1989. I have an eating disorder. I have the opposite of anorexia. I think I'm thin. I'm in a big support group. We all sit around in skin tight clothes going, is this too baggy to wear? I did get the greatest insult of my entire life in Scotland. Have you played Scotland?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
I love it.
It's so great.
I love it.
Once you get past their ridiculous, like when they literally have an expression to not laugh, they go, nay bother. You're like, seriously? But I walked into a department store and the woman said to me, I go, is this too big on me? And she said, quite the opposite, madam, quite the opposite. And I said, oh, thank you. And then I was like, oh, no, not thank you.
Quite the opposite,
Quite
madam.
the opposite, madam, quite the opposite. Such a good slam.
Everyone knows I'm a tobacco guy. Listen, there's no better thing than a little bit of tobacco and a story. Oh, bro, you want to hear what happened last weekend? Put in a dip. But here's the deal. I am off nicotine. That's why I love our sponsor, Black Buffalo. If you're 21 and over and you dip or chew pouches or long cut, check out award-winning tobacco alternative Black Buffalo. Black Buffalo is everything you love and nothing you don't. The feel, the taste, the ritual, just without the actual tobacco leaf or stem. Black Buffalo is actually made from a variety of green leaves in the cabbage family. You take pride in what you do, right? Take pride in what you dip. Honor your ritual with Black Buffalo. Black Buffalo makes all the flavors we know and love. And I'll tell you what's great about it. Sometimes the smell is what I need. Like I'll smell it and go, ooh, freshman year, Florida State. Shit, it's winter. I'm ready to go see a football game. They've got wintergreen, mint, straight, peach, and even blood orange. And without and with pharmaceutical grade nicotine. You can buy Black Buffalo online at blackbuffalo.com or at thousands of retail stores across the country by checking their store locator on their website. Black Buffalo knows it's April, and what April means to Black Buffalo is respecting the herd and being a part of the herd. Join the herd, okay? If you're 21 and over and you use products like this, it's time to join the Black Buffalo herd. Head to blackbuffalo.com and use the promo code BERT at checkout for 15% off your first order. Use my code BERT for 15% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code BERT for 15% off your first order. Warning. This product does contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. I want to talk about our next sponsor, Mad Rabbit. This is the coolest sponsor I would argue that we've ever had because I say the word tattoo incorrectly. And this is their whole brand. Their whole brand, Mad Rabbit is committed to reinventing tattoo aftercare. Founded by two friends with a passion for ink, Mad Rabbit creates simple, effective, and natural products that help improve the healing process and preservation of tattoos. And they're all delivered right to your door. Here's what I love about Mad Rabbit. The first time I did this read, I said tattoo. And they were like, yo, man, that's kind of our thing. Can you just say the word right? And sometimes I do say it right, but most of the times I don't. And I don't know which is right anymore. And they were cool enough to come back to the Bertcast. So I want to really blow up this company. They are awesome. Their hero product, the Tattoo Balm, revitalizes, replenishes, and proactively preserves tattoo ink. Ooh, I killed it right there. It's effective on both new and old and all skin types. Leanne's got one on her ankle that we put it on, and I'm telling you, it looked brand new, like it did when she got it in 1983. I don't know when she got it, but it was definitely in the 90s. I'm certain of it. Georgia just got one, and I got some of my oldest got one, and I got it for her and sent it to her because here's what's great. The balm has 8 ingredients: shea butter, cocoa butter, beeswax, calendula, sweet almond, lavender, frankincense, and cucumber. That's it. So forget the days of the ingredients you can't pronounce with Mad Rabbit. You know what you're putting on your body is truly all natural. Plus, they've got all the products you need for your tattoos, from a tattoo sunscreen to a tattoo soothing gel and more. And in April 2021, just 2 years into Mad Rabbit's existence, they became a carbon neutral company because they believe in leaving the world a better place than when they started. This is a badass company. I love these guys and girls. They're awesome. I love that they sponsor our podcast, even though I say this word wrong. If you've got a child, like I do, who just got ink, or a wife who's got older ink, or you're covered in ink, this is where you want to go. So when you think of tattoo care, think Mad Rabbit. They've preserved over 1.5 million tattoos, and right now, they've got an exclusive offer just for Bertcast listeners. If you go to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use promo code Bertcast, you'll receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you head to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use our promo code Bertcast. Thank you to the people at Mad Rabbit. You're badass. So
you identify as in shape.
I actually identify as the best shape of my life. That's crazy, but I'm like physically very fit.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually very physically fit right now. I would love to be skinnier in the belly area, but I'm strong. I'm the strongest I've ever been.
What's your workout?
I work out every day. I run or row, and then I do high intensity training. So like today we did bench press.
I know what HIIT is with the 2 eyes.
Yeah, well, I only know that because it's what is on my Apple Watch. But I have a personal trainer who travels with me, and because
it's amazing.
I'm kind of just trying to keep allowing myself to live my lifestyle. So I only work out to live my lifestyle. Right. If I got rid of drinking, I probably would I would be tiny. I'd lose all the weight.
Okay, so what's your relationship with drinking?
It's fucking the best relationship of my life.
It is.
Oh.
And started at what age?
22. 22 is when I
became the partier of the year.
Yep, it's when I met the Russian mafia, and I remember drinking with those guys and being like, oh, this is like a real social lubricant, and I was making them laugh, and I didn't speak their language, right? So like to make them laugh, with whatever broken Russian I had, I remember going, I think I could be a comedian. I think this would be fun, and everyone always said I was a funny guy, but I wasn't a big drinker at school, and then I got back to college, and my girlfriend had cheated on me with my best friend, and I didn't know how to deal with those emotions, and I kept drinking to be the life of the party, so that you couldn't see that I was hurt.
Right.
And then I got discovered by Rolling Stone magazine, and now it's a brand.
My first Russian boyfriend, my first and only, when I had moved to New York, and he would get words wrong all the time, and he would say, "This is all true." For a low cut shirt, he said, "How do you say that, Cleveland?" I was like, very funny, ironic, flat city. And then he would say, "Meet me at the building with the revolting door." I'm like, revolving, all right. And and then he said to me once, "I want to make fuck to you." And I was like, "No,
I want to make fuck to you."
No. And actually said this to me, "Put your left breast in your mouth." And I'm like, no. And if I find out I can't do that, I'm going to kill myself. No, absolutely not.
Great.
So eventually I was just like, okay, I can't handle it. But he was sexy, but bad English.
Yeah, there's something.
Okay, wait. So are you ever sober on stage?
Yeah. Almost all the time.
Okay.
Lately, so I'm doing arenas
Any day
right now.
goes by that you don't have alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a dependency that you can't
I have no
quit.
Dependency. I have
but
no dependency.
You just enjoy how you feel.
I enjoy. Well, I get the.
Do you ever get hangovers?
Yeah. I mean, I had a pretty strong hangover today, but for me, what I do is I go in the gym and I push it really hard, and then they just go away. Right. And so you just got to push through it. I don't really get hangovers like the regular people will do, or I think.
I think that we've already distinguished that you're not a regular person. I like that. That was like that. Then you just became full King Bert.
The first time
when the serfs drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I when the first time I ever did stand up, a guy, Christian Harloff. Harloff.
Okay.
He's got a podcast called Schmoes Know Movies, I think. And we were in Tallahassee, and I grabbed a Miller Lite, and he said, "I wouldn't do that if I were you." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Drink." He goes, "If you drink and go up right now, if you get like loose and then go up, you're gonna need to drink forever. And this shouldn't be something that you drink at. It should be work." And I went, "Okay." So I didn't drink. I put the beer to the side. I think I brought it on stage with me, but I didn't drink it before I went on stage. Mm-hmm. Didn't touch it on stage. And so I've never needed alcohol to perform. I actually, quite the opposite. I'm much better without alcohol.
Quite the opposite. I used to have the same agent, my old agent, Jackie Kanabi, who I loved. I would show up at these theaters. I did this big theater tour, and I don't drink. And there would be like a table of every alcohol, and always some like terrified 20-year-old going, "I'm so sorry, but we couldn't find the Jim Beam in that particular color," or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know what Jim Beam is. I don't know what you're talking about. There would always be like literally a table of alcohol. And I go, this is so weird. I accidentally had Ron White's Rider.
Are you serious?
And everywhere I went, terrified children going, "We couldn't find all the alcohol in the universe. We're so sorry." And I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. I'm the cookies girl.
I hope you like this marijuana. It's
exactly.
Super low grade mids. God damn.
The marijuana. Yeah, that would be so funny. Yeah.
Sweet, you never drank?
I drank in my 20s.
Yeah, but then what happened?
Early
You
20s.
Just stopped? Didn't like it?
I didn't like the way it made me feel. I also didn't like the complete switch of personality.
Really?
Like, I like being present. I like being present.
I like being present. I don't know.
I grew up around quite a bit of alcoholism that I was not a big fan of.
What about your sisters? Do they drink?
No.
No.
One sister doesn't drink at all. One,
So what's your thing? How do you go to bed?
Wine. How do I go to bed?
What?
I'm going to tell you something. The reason it's called menopause is because insomnia was taken.
Isla, she's made me laugh in a while. Leanne's going through menopause, my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Be
very patient.
She said, I think I have insomnia. And Isla goes, oh, what's the last thing you remember? I go, that's amnesia, Isla. Fucking made me laugh really hard. Really fucking hard.
Yeah, the menopause thing, I'm just going to tell you what it is. You wake up one day and you never go back to sleep, but they haven't told you that it's your last night of sleep. And then you're awake between 2 and 5, and it's not productive hours where you can think things. It's hours where you can do one of two things. One, order prostitute clothes from Shane on the Chinese website, in which I am a size 1200. When I do my measurements.
I want to go in there right now and see what kind of clothes you order.
All prostitute clothes. And they all arrive, and my daughter's like, "What? Are you a prostitute? Like, why do you order these clothes?" I'm like, I don't know. They look cute on the girl, and they're all made of paper. Do you ever order from there? Oh, okay. It's the crappiest.
Shane?
Shane. Schein. Shane. I don't know how you say it. Oh. Yeah, you know what it is, right? And then you just review all your bad decisions, and then, but I want your wife to know that you come out of it. You don't always. Like at first, all you want to do is trade in all your Mod Podge. Your KY jelly for Mod Podge, and you're like, take me to a craft store right now. And then you're like, okay.
Oh, there's an app for it?
I'm done. Is there an app?
I think so.
Yeah.
My wife's going through it right now, and she hates it.
Well, what year is she in?
She just started. She said to me, we were in the hot tub, and she said, I haven't got my period. And I got excited because I was like, because all the girls were leaving. And so I was like, oh, I'd love a new baby. And she said, no, I'm in menopause, shithead. And I went, ugh.
Okay. That is so hilarious.
Yeah.
I would love a new baby.
I'm really bummed that I didn't have 3 because I would love a 12-year-old floating around the house right now.
It's the greatest thing having a child. It is. She's so funny, my daughter. She yells from the room. This is like during COVID. She goes, Mommy, I'm just doing homework. If you're walking down the street and you get hit by an ambulance, do they throw you in the back or do they call another ambulance? And I was like, what subject is this? Like, what are you talking about? What kind of an example is it? I said, I think they would throw you in the back. What about you?
I think they throw you in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember literally the day after I turned 50, I was performing in some theater. I always do stand up on my birthday.
Really?
And
I have done stand up on my birthday randomly every year.
Always. And I take my daughter to a Pink concert as often as I can on my birthday for my birthday. So I was in some little club in like Illinois in some horrible hotel room with like awful carpeting that would be rejected from a casino, just like awful. And I thought, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. I was in more pain. I thought an elephant was standing on my chest and breaking my back.
Yeah.
And I was like lying on the ground and I was like, I am not fucking dying here. People magazine is not photographing me on this disgusting carpet. Like someone will have a picture and then my last meal somehow will have like show up.
Yeah.
And I literally called and I was like 911. First of all, I called the hotel and I'm like, call 911. What? I can't hear you. And I'm like, oh, I can't hear you. Like, think about it. I'm like, 911. She goes, do you need an ambulance? Yes. An ambulance shows up. 2 paramedics, maybe 9 and 11, show up and weighing a total of 130 pounds. Yeah. And they're like literally dragging me into the ambulance. I'd be like hit on everything. I go in and it was the day after I turned 50 and they're like into their, and my blood pressure was like insane and my heart rate was insane. I was like,
for real?
Oh my God, this is it. Like it was terrible.
It wasn't just a panic attack. It was legit.
No. So I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And they were like, they're like, 50-year-old female. And I literally go, fuck, I am not even in this ambulance alone. There's some 50-year-old in here with me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's me. And then I was really going to have a heart attack. I was like, no, this is terrible. And then they like saying my weight and my age and in their little, emergency microphone or whatever it is, when they, whatever you call it. And they go, ma'am. And I go, don't fucking call me ma'am. Like literally with my dying breath. I'm like, don't call me ma'am. And they go, is there anything we can do to make you feel better? I'm like, yeah, you can stop screaming my age and weight into a microphone. Anyway, I was having a gallbladder attack.
Oh, is that happening here?
Oh yeah, you think you're dying.
So
I've had a baby.
Yeah.
Labor's nothing compared to this pain.
I think I had a gallbladder attack once on the road.
Oh, it's awful.
I
had 7.
For real?
Yeah, I refused to go to the hospital because I was so scared of it.
What was the thing? What causes gallbladder attacks?
Your gallbladder stones are filled with gall. I don't know. They get when I finally went into the doctor because I just didn't want to have surgery. I was so stupid. And I went into the doctor and he goes, I think I went in at 4:00 and he goes, and he looked at my like sonogram or whatever and he goes, okay, it's too late to do the surgery tonight. Can you be in at 5 a.m.? Your gallbladders could literally explode at any moment. And I was like,
what happens if they explode?
Then you have to have the surgery that goes right through here. They have to cut you
open.
open.
Oh, fuck. How do I make sure I have healthy gallbladders?
No, you've got to get it checked because now it just looks like I had a fight with like a bad child pirate who was like,
So you got your gallbladders removed?
Just the one gallbladder.
Oh, you only have one?
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. Not phoning a friend if they bring back the Millionaire Show. How many gallbladders does it take?
Well,
just one.
Oh, okay. I think I had a gallbladder.
But you got to get that checked. Well, if you have a high fatty diet, that's what happens.
Oh.
And
I have I go to the doctor every 6 months.
Good.
So they'd know.
What's the deal with your health? Is it overall good?
Perfect.
But you're just like want it to be good. So you just are on top of it.
I'm high. I'm afraid of death, and I'm super corrective. So I want to be. I had my dad and I got into an argument a long time ago about health, and he said, and someone had slipped him edibles, and he said, "What?" I said, "Well, I feel like you don't like me," and he goes, "I love you," and I said, "Well, how can I make this better?" And he said, "You need to go to a cardiologist." He goes, "I'm afraid I'm going to lose you." So I went to a cardiologist, and they did a CT scan, and there was one conversation I had with this one nurse. I walked into the Cedars-Sinai where they're like they're doing the calcium scan, and the woman was like, "You don't look good." I said, "I don't want to be like I was depressed. I was like sad," and she goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't want to be here." She goes, "Let me tell you something, honey. The fact that you walk through that door means that they're never going to roll you through that door. You do not want to be rolled through that door. Those are the people that should be sad. You're going to be fine." And I went, "For real?" And she goes, "You're in front of it." And that changed the way I looked at healthcare. So I go to the cardiologist every 6 months. I go to the doctor. I get blood work done. Right now I'm on this longevity program. I mean, I'm pretty full disclosure about it, but I sent my blood work to a longevity specialist, and they prescribed me a bunch of stuff to kind of lower my blood sugars and take care of. I'm on testosterone replacement, and it helps repair your liver. And so right now I'm doing all that, but yeah, I work out like crazy so that I can live my lifestyle. Right. And I'm sure one day I'm gonna have to.
But how is your liver?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's let's be honest though, it's not good for the liver ultimately, even if you're doing all the exercise.
No, yeah. Well,
at some point you should be like dry for a little bit.
I think I'm good. Give me a fucking moment. I'm sorry. I have no time. That like everything is happening so fast right now that I'm watching my schedule just fill up.
This is the exciting thing. Okay, so I did when my daughter was home with me, I studied astrology with this really cool astrologer. And she was from Israel, and she had the most hilarious accent. And she would always say, "Don't forget to fuck us all day." And I'm like, "Focus, don't pronounce it's focus." And the thing about a Scorpio, the nature of a Scorpio, they really can literally do anything. Anything. If you show a Scorpio how to do it once, if it's whatever you're learning, however you access your brain, if it's visual, if it's oral, whatever, you have to reach your brain. And when somebody figures out, that's why I wish that they would do that in schools. I wish that they would test how do we reach your kid's brain? Because it's awful when it's just general and you don't get it. And as a comedian, we have these sort of weird super sixth sense anyway, because we're reading a whole room full of energy all the time, right? So with the Scorpio, not only do you have that sixth sense that you can really, really feel a crowd, right? Yeah. You really can. But they will go down into the darkest place on earth and the scariest place and get so close to death. And at the last minute, they will always come up for air, which is what an actual scorpion does.
Really?
Yeah. But you do have to be, I mean, every sign is like the good and the bad, but like the extreme nature of the Scorpio is what you have to watch out for. Like you are so in it, 1,000,000%.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, that's like me. 1,000,000. And plus, when you're not in it, you have to really be fixing. You have to fix a house. You have to fix a relationship. You have to fix a problem. That's your MO.
Yeah.
As a Scorp.
That is
and
me
what's
too.
What's Leanne? What sign is she?
August 20th.
Okay, so she's a
Leo?
Well, no, she's a Leo Virgo. She's really more of a Virgo.
Probably. Leanne is. I couldn't even explain Leanne. I couldn't even tell you what her brain's like. She is.
So you haven't reached her brain yet.
She is very just. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Rachel, but like very matter of fact, very says it. If she feels it, she says it. Like a lot of people consider it just being a bitch,
right?
But like she will tell you the truth,
right?
And even if it hurts, and she is oblivious to the fact that it's about to hurt you. But that's the truth.
Well, that's the other thing about Scorpio is that you're deceptively sensitive.
Oh,
for somebody who is so tough, you are a crier.
Oh my God, by the way, I've been crying a lot lately.
Yeah, like, I've been crying a lot lately too, and I hadn't.
Really?
I hadn't been crying at all for a while. And something just like, I went to my osteopath. You should see him.
What's an osteopath?
An osteopath is really like, it's mostly popular in Europe. It's a doctor that looks at the alignment of your spine. So if you think of your spine as like railroad tracks,
yeah.
And when your spine is off kilter, your nerves are not properly innervated. So you're not really functioning at 100%.
Really? And so is it like a chiropractor?
No. Well, it's like a chiropractor, a kinesiologist, a muscle tester, an osteopath. It's all of them. It's the highest medical degree.
Really?
You should really see them because their fingers are so trained. They're like an MRI.
Oh, wait. Do they do stuff like this where they go like
tapping?
I don't know. Like I went to someone one time.
Or jerking off because I can't really tell. Do they do this stuff? Most men do, I would say. Yeah.
No. I went to a woman who was in a place called Kuya in Austin, and she didn't give me an adjustment, but she rearranged my body, and she found what was hurting on me without even knowing what was hurting on me.
Oh yeah, and they also will tell you like you have trauma in your body, which I believe that we do, and he'll be like, what happened at age 7? And you're like, nothing happened.
Oh, I would love that. I would fucking love that.
Oh, you'd love this guy.
I'm trying to find out what my childhood
amazing.
trauma was.
Oh, he'll tell you in one session.
Really?
Yes. There's a lot of crying. Last time he's such a genius. He's from, oh my God, what's the country right beside Russia?
Ukraine?
No, that was the obvious choice, but no. I can't remember. Who does all your amazing artwork?
Oh, I've hired people to do them for like the shows. So I wish I could tell you who, but I know that the one guy, all the ones in the center was from a guy named Bert Brock, and that was like the beginning of changing my career.
Are you hyper organized?
No.
Really?
I'm very chaotic. I'm also a little bit of a micromanager and a little bit of a perfectionist. But
a little bit.
But I'm all over the map. I'm really bad at and I give up on things. Like I looked at my calendar today, tried to look at press in New York, and the times are in LA times, and I just was like, oh, I want to throw my phone across the wall.
I think it's really impressive. I think it is Chappelle that elevated it to the fact that now stand-up is
the job.
They're rock stars.
When you started, it wasn't the job.
No.
Stand-up was the thing that got you the job.
Right.
That's crazy.
And it's funny because I've had all the other jobs and all I want to do is stand up.
You've had all of the jobs.
I've had all the jobs.
All of the jobs.
And I have like acting jobs still, but now for the first time, like I was just up for a television show and I literally made the decision. I was like, I don't want to do this part. It's much more interesting. I'd rather go do stand up. I'm at this phase where I've done it for so long. And I know this sounds sort of wishy-washy, but like if I go in a room and I do stand up and there's like 300 people, whatever, and I've elevated their mood at the end of it, and they're like a little bit happier. Then I'm like, okay, that's all I needed to do. I don't have any. I'm not trying to get a series. No. I'm doing a special. There's not something. It's not.
You could do anything you wanted. You could literally walk into any network, and they would greenlight whatever they wanted and order it tomorrow. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But I know how you feel. It's like being.
It's such a gift to get to do it.
It's. I tried to make this analogy of like. It's like having a microbrewery where you go, I love making beer and I love people loving my beer.
Right.
And if I went bigger than this, I don't think I'd make the same beer. If I just sold it to Anheuser-Busch,
right.
It's not the same beer. Now, I'm sure it would have hints of my original beer, but I don't want to water it down. And so I identify with that very much.
Yeah.
And
but I was so impressed watching your specials. The literal like men are giggling, joyfully giggling. Like I thought, because I don't really understand men. I grew up, all girls, went to all girls school. I've had conversations with men and I think, are we speaking any kind of, did you learn English? Is it me?
Yeah.
Like I like that weird, I don't understand them, but they don't feel emotions as deeply. There is something, my friend was just telling me, something in your brain, like we feel it 600 times more than you guys do. But anyway, to see these men like high-fiving each other and like giggling and like men of all ages, and they're just like so happy. And you really do come across on stage as very joyful.
I think I share a genetic trait with you is that that's what I was so drawn to your stand-up was that it should be fun.
It should be fun, and we should be having fun doing it.
I can't imagine having to get worked up and angry every day to do stand-up. Like to get on stage and be like...
Mike McDonald always said, we don't get paid to be stand-ups. We get paid to leave our families and travel.
Oh,
that's it.
Wow.
The rest on stage, it's just like...
I love... I would do a series.
Series are fun.
I would do it. I never wanted to do anything other than stand up. But I was on your path. I did stand up. When I started, I did stand up to get the job because that's how it worked.
Right.
And then at a certain point, I worked for Travel Channel for like 9 years or 8 years.
Did you do that show the whole time?
I did a bunch of different ones. I had a deal there, like an overall deal. So I would do different shows. I had this one called Birth the Conqueror. I did a show called Scream If You Know the Answer. I did a...
Scream If You Know the Answer is the best title ever.
Oh, it was funny shit.
What was it?
It was a game show on roller coasters. So it was hilarious.
Oh my God.
But
that is genius.
It was a really fun show.
So how would you ask the questions?
I was on the roller coaster with them.
Oh, okay.
So I'd be on the roller coaster hosting the show and being like, in 1899, one person ran through the and they were like, I don't know. Next question. And so it was hilarious.
Oh my God.
It was hilarious. It aired on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
What?
And so, yeah, I know.
I've had a show become that. I'm like, that's so mean.
Yeah.
That should have been a late night show.
Coolio was a guest on it.
Coolio was a guest on Sabrina.
Was he really?
Because I said this. My character said this to him. Word to your mother. I remember saying it. And I was in like a garbage outfit. I was like, I think sometimes I look back when I watch that show and I'm like, in many ways, I feel like I'm watching another person.
Yeah.
Like I remember it, but it's, you know how it is, your life before your children and after your children. Yeah. It's just like, it's a bizarre, and the fact it's been on every day since 2000.
That's crazy.
That's 20 something years. Can't do the math. 23 would it be? Yeah. I've been called witch in every country.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
It's crazy how much this business has changed from when you started to where you are today.
No,
like
it's crazy.
It's not
but
even...
social media is the thing. Like we had none. We would go and, I still want to go do local radio. And they're like, there is no local radio. And I'm like, but that's the most fun to do.
There's local radio in like Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, DC, Tampa, Arizona, Omaha. Obviously, Bob and Tom is still big. But
I love Bob and Tom.
But there's the radio isn't what you used to wake up early. I mean, like I brought in.
We'd have to wake up so early for radio.
And you'd do a radio run. Mm-hmm. And you'd be doing radio until noon. And I went with the comic. I went with the comic the other day in Tampa. My buddy Mike Cowhead has a show. And I said, you want to come in and do radio with us? And he was like, I don't know how to do it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I know it's not like a podcast, but like, what do I do? And I go, what do you mean? And he was like, can you show me how to do it? And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah, because there was a little bit
I've taught people how to do the radio.
There's a little art form in doing radio.
Ask me, because you fall for their things, because they all go back to your birth story and your origin story. You're from Canada. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. You're like, okay. Yeah. So now ask me where I'm from.
Where are you from?
The shows are at 8 and 10 Saturday. Yeah. You just answer whatever you need to say.
Oh, I was so good. I got to be dead honest with you. I was so good at radio.
Yeah.
Because I just knew that everything I had to say had to be a bit. It had to come out funny.
Of course.
And I used to go in and drink on air with them. And so I would come in and be like, where's the booze? And immediately you'd get one or two of them and sometimes all of them, and then everything would be loosened up. Right. And it was chaos. I mean, I did radio one time, the game-changing radio I did, Elliot in the Morning in DC, and
I remember Elliot in the Morning.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went in, I drank with him. Everyone drank, and I gave out my wife's phone number.
Oh my God.
Oh, but it was like, I think either that or I gave out my password for my Facebook. But it was the funniest. It was the funniest moment. So I said, the number is 323-854. And then they're like, wait, hold on. Don't give out the whole number. I go, don't worry. And I leaned over to Diane, his sidekick, and I went into her microphone.
Oh my God.
And I mean, it was like immediately my wife calls and it's in LA. It's like 5 a.m. and she goes, did you just give out my phone number? And I go, no. And Elliot's like, I think you might have whispered into the microphone. I sold out every show in DC that weekend. Since that moment, I've never not sold out in DC because I would go in and do radio. And Elliot was someone who kind of helped me change the way I did approach business, because I came up with this idea of doing a show called a Call in Sick to Work show, where you'd go in, do radio, drink with them until 10, and then drive directly to the club and do a show at 11 o'clock for everyone that called in sick, that listened. They'd all call in sick to work and go to the club. They sold out immediately. Morning shows at the clubs.
Genius.
It was.
I've never heard of that. That's so good.
Sadly, the price point was $5,000. That's the most you could make doing that. So it was a lot it was a lot of work for $5,000. I felt like I was like, because if you do a weekend and sell it a weekend,
right,
then you're making great money. But for whatever reason, you can only do one show, and it was and I do them on Thursday mornings. I do Thursday morning, and then I do Thursday evening at a club close to there. So I'd do that Thursday morning, and then I'd head up to get on a plane after the show and do, they were fun as shit. I gave out Segura's phone number on that show.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He had to change his number.
Oh my God.
I just was like.
You are such a naughty child. That's what you are. You're an incredibly silly, naughty child that is so adorable that you can't really get in trouble.
I loved doing radio. That was so much fun.
I know. Radio was so much fun.
Yeah.
I still love doing Bob and Tom, actually.
Oh, Bob and Tom was.
They're great.
Tom was the first person to give me, he gave me a legit compliment, he's like, you are great on radio. And I was like, thank you. And he was like, you should consider doing radio. And I was like, really? And he was like, you are amazing. And what he didn't know is I had given him every single joke I had in that show. And it made it look like it was off the top. I had the jokes written down, but I just was improvising everything. And then the next time I went on, I didn't have any jokes. And I bombed. And I had taken a Xanax the night before, and I was out of it. I was like,
Oh, yeah. Bombing on that show is not fun. I've done that too.
Oh, this is a great podcast sponsor, Kanzori. I have a best friend who swears by this product. Fellas, have you ever wished you were a little bit taller? Maybe you matched on Tinder, but her profiler says you must be over 6 feet. Maybe your date wants to wear heels, but she can't because it'll make her taller than you. Well, I got the short kings covered with today's sponsor, Kanzuri. Kanzuri makes shoes that will make you up to 2.8 inches taller without anyone knowing. I'm telling you, this works. My best friend does this. And I'm telling you, literally, he walked up to me the other day and we were getting ready to do a podcast, and I was like, how tall are you? Look, girls get heels, makeup, and push-up bras. Why can't men get a boost in confidence too? We're all the same height lying down anyway, if you know what I mean. For a limited time only, our listeners can get an extra 15% off your order with the code BERT at kanzuri.com. The site is already 30% off, and with our code, you get an extra 15% off. That's 45% off your entire order. Show support for our show and check them out at kanzuri.com and use the code BERT. I'm telling you right now, my buddy is noticeably taller when he wears these, and they're not old man Velcro shoes. You're going to get compliments on these shoes, even if they didn't make you taller. They have styles for every occasion. Smart, casual, sporty, you name it. Their height insoles are actually built into the shoe, so no one can tell you're getting a secret height boost. The brand is also hidden on the shoe and the packaging. It's really the ultimate height hack. Life is short, but you don't have to be. It's time to level up the playing field, boys. Kanzuri is an absolute game changer when it comes to your dating life. On top of the 30% off of the site, our listeners are going to get an exclusive extra 15% off discount at kanzuri.com with the code BERT. That's a total of 45% off your order. Use the code BERT at kanzuri.com. Go to kanzuri.com with the code BERT. Listen, when I want to get high, I put on a pair of Kanzuris. Guys hate going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor. I schedule a doctor's appointment and then literally I change it 4 or 5 times right leading up to the appointment. In my opinion, it ruins my entire day. It literally takes half a day just to get it done. Also, you don't want to talk to your doctor about certain issues. Here's the thing, most men, health issues, have really simple solutions. RexMD is all about simple solutions. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver it right to your door. No office visits, no talking to a receptionist. Super simple. Did you know that Viagra can cost around $90 a pill? But RexMD has generic Viagra for as low as $2 a pill. You just fill out a quick medical questionnaire on their website, and a doctor will review your situation and prescribe you generic Viagra if appropriate. The medication gets shipped directly to your door for free with 2-day shipping. It's fast, it's simple, it's cheap, and you can access your U.S. licensed RexMD physician anytime you need afterwards. Let me tell you something. This is the deal of a lifetime. And I know this because I have been offered certain pills through my pharmacist that are not the generic ones, and the price is through the roof. Next thing you know, you get your bill for the generic ones and you're like, $5? How did this happen? This is what you have to do. They've helped over 300,000 guys get generic Viagra quickly and conveniently. RexMD just works, and it works the very first night. Act now and take advantage of their deal by heading to rexmd.com/Bert. Our exclusive deal will save up to 90% off, where you'll pay as low as $2 per dose on generic Viagra instead of $90 plus on Viagra. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/Bert for up to 90% off, plus a free gift. Your partner will thank you.
And you did Letterman a lot, right?
I know, I just did it once.
You did it once?
I did it once, and then...
And did you hear him go, ha? Which is the greatest feeling in the entire world when he made his laugh sound. Ha! What joke did he laugh at?
I was telling him I shovel raced. And he said, really? And I said, it's crazy. He goes, how do you race a shovel? And I said, well, first of all, you take the shovel, and he's like, whoa. And what I was trying to say is you sit on the shovel and the stick goes here, but I just was doing this, and I was supposed to do 3 minutes on the show, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. I did 7 minutes, and I had him going. But it was everything about it, and I think you can identify. Well, you did it when you were famous, right? Uh-huh. I did it when I was not famous.
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't. I did it along the way.
But do you remember, like
I was probably known by the time I did it.
Yeah. See, I wasn't known.
Right.
And so when I walked out. You know that you're supposed to wave to the audience, but I didn't. I was like, they don't know who I am, and I don't know who they are. So I was like, kind of raised my hand, and I was like, and then I wanted to sit down, and you want to wave to Paul, but I don't know Paul.
Oh, God.
So I was like, hey, like it was really awkward, and then David Letterman said something, and I laughed, and as soon as I laughed, my giggle, he gave me the look where you go, oh. He's playing now. Like, and I couldn't stop giggling. I giggled through the whole fucking interview.
Wait, did you only do an interview?
I just did an interview.
You didn't do stand-up on it?
I didn't do stand-up. I just did an interview.
Oh, wow. No, I always had to do. Okay, do you want to hear something funny? When I was doing, one time when I was on Terrell Owens, T.O.
Did you touch him?
Of course.
He is the most physically fit human being I've ever felt. I put my arms around him, and his back was like an alien's back. It was so big, and I immediately had to go to the front and feel the front. Like I just felt the back, and I went, whoa! And he was like, "Yeah, I know, right?" T.O. is awesome.
Okay, so I was booked on that show. I was booked on Letterman, and it was when Letterman was like, Eddie booked me. I'd done it a few times, and it would be like, it used to be like you'd be booked on Letterman and then you'd book yourself at Caroline's or somewhere that you're like, I want to use this plug for somewhere.
Yeah.
Club. So I must have been booked and then the date changed 4 times at least. So I finally get on and, like you get hair and makeup and like stylist and you're at like maximum capacity short of surgery. You're not going to look any better. And you practice your set, because Letterman was so fussy about getting the exact wording right.
Yeah.
I'd practiced my set. I'd gotten it down. And so it was supposed to be me and Jeff Goldblum. And it was supposed to be me doing stand-up and panel and Jeff Goldblum. And at the last minute, they go, oh, Tio is coming on too. And I go, oh, who's that? And Kostaki, my daughter's father, who I was with at the time, goes, do you like football?
I do.
Oh, you should talk to him. He literally knows everything about
Kostaki.
Do you know Kostaki?
I think I did. I think I met him at Bob and Tom one time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has a thing there every week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go in, of course, to meet Tio because I have to talk to everybody. And as my daughter goes, are you incapable of not having a social interaction with every human you come in contact with? And I go, I am incapable. I am sorry. I'm sorry, honey. And so we we'll get on an elevator and she goes like this, don't talk to people. Don't. Hi, where are you guys going? No, nobody's on the elevator to talk to you, Mommy.
I do that too.
Yeah, I can't help it.
I'll tell if someone's eating something good, I'll go over and sit with them and go, what are you eating today?
Oh, yeah.
And,
I'm like, your tag is out. Where you can actually use this, as you can identify with this. I have a joke that some celebrities are very intimidating. I'm the kind of celebrity where fans eventually say to me, I've got to go.
I had a fan one time go, hey man, I'll take a picture with you. I know you like this. And I went, no, I don't mind it, but like it's not like it's for me.
Yeah. Will you take a picture? Okay. All right. So I walk into Tio and I was on Sabrina at the time and he said, I said to him, you are one of my boyfriend's fantasy guys. I don't say fantasy football. I don't say it correctly. And Kostaki is looking at me like he's going to kill me. And he looks at me like, don't ever say that ever again. And I go, you're one of my boyfriend's fantasy guys. And he goes, cool. And he goes, you're that crazy witch from television. And I go, yes, I am. And then we're chatting. And then I said, well, break a leg. And he goes, what does that mean? I said, break a leg means, that's what actors say to each other for good luck just before you go on. I go, so break a leg. And he goes, okay, great. And then Kostaki said, never fucking tell any man that I am his fantasy guy or he is my fantasy guy. And I'm like, okay, sorry. I didn't realize. Out of context, whatever. I think he knew. So he goes down and he literally talks like this. Yeah, I was living with my grandmother at the time. And I'm like, what is happening? And Letterman, who's about to then go, coming up next, we have Caroline Rhea goes, coming up next, we'll be back with more T.O. And I'm like, oh my God. I got bumped. And Eddie comes up and he's like, I am so sorry. I don't know how I had the balls to do this. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I have been working on this set for a year. Like, no. And I was so mad. And I was like, no way. Normally I'd be like, okay, now who I am, I'd be like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So Tio comes upstairs and he goes, hey, witchy poo. He goes, did I break a leg? And I go, you did. So mad.
Hey, next week in the game, I hope you blow out your ACL.
Hey, guess what? Bert, the next day he broke his leg.
Oh, you fucking kidding?
I'm not kidding. Look it up. Kidding? Next day he broke his leg.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
And then he played in the Super Bowl because they said he would never heal. And he goes, God is my doctor. Remember that?
Yeah.
He broke his, yeah.
I remember, I bet I could picture, I wonder what year that was because there was a time where Tio was making the rounds. When Tio broke his leg. When Tio was making the rounds.
Maybe 2005?
I did a TV show with him and he was, I mean, alarmingly honest. I remember saying,
good Lord. I'm like, here, Caroline burping for an hour. It's really nice.
I said to him on the thing and it was like a sex show type show or I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was on Comedy Central. It's a pilot. And I said, how long are you supposed to last during sex? And Tio goes, I don't know, like a minute, 2 minutes. I go, really? And he goes, yeah, I mean, the point is to get done with it, right? I mean, that's the end is the best part. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, and normally like everyone else is like, I last all night long. But Tio was just like a minute, 2 minutes. Like it was just so.
Okay, help me fix this joke. I'm trying to write a joke about dating men in the military.
Ooh.
And how I go, they're not big on foreplay. It's just like the airline says, military like to board first. I know, but I'm like, and then I said, of course, if you have sex with someone in the military, the protocol is then to say, thank you for your service. And, but I had a little fling with an Army Ranger, and I think, I said, I think he had abandonment issues or intimacy issues because after sex, I went to the bathroom and he parachuted out of my bedroom.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
You're like, nah. I'm like,
I always want to know when it comes to, this is how my brain works with comedy these days. I want to know the secret. like I want to hear this thing that there's like
see, that's how I process. So I'll make everything a joke. Everything is true.
Yeah.
But it won't be the direct. Occasionally I'll just tell, like I have a joke thing lately, aging. I really like, it'd be great to be young again, but you have a wisdom in aging that you don't in your youth. Like there are things you understand now. Like open mouth kissing a dog and murder. I totally understand both now. And there was a time when I thought they were awful and disgusting. Now I'm like, oh, of course. And then, like you read a story, I'm like, oh no, she murdered him. She ordered a cruise. They've never been on a cruise. And then she rushed him, threw him off the balcony and killed him. And then she went home and made out with her dog. Like I get it.
Yeah.
What time is it, Bert?
I don't know. What time do you have to be out of here?
What time is it?
12:16.
No, I'm fine.
What time do you need to be out by?
Probably at 12:30.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Wait, tell me about the Army Ranger. See, that's the part I want. Like, that's where, and like, I want to know the like weird thing.
No, he's like literally the handsomest man I've ever seen in my
For
entire
real?
life. No, for real. Like it literally makes me stupid. Like, I think I'm a smart woman, and it'd be like, if he's like, what's your favorite color? I'd be like 9. Like I you know what? He's so handsome. I know what it feels like to be a man, I think, because I look at him objectively and go, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like I get it when a man is like dumbfounded by a woman's beauty.
Yeah.
I never understood. Like this man is so handsome.
Really?
It's ridiculous.
Age
it's
appropriate?
ridiculous.
Age appropriate?
No.
Younger than you?
Everyone is at this point. Of course he is. No, yes, he's younger.
I couldn't date someone younger than me.
I wouldn't call it dating. What's happening? That's not the word I would use. No, I wouldn't. No, that's not a verb that comes to mind.
Oh.
Oh, no, seriously, can't even.
I love that you're a fan of yourself.
No, I am. I'm not kidding. Sometimes when he texts me, I'm like, oh my God, I can't look at the phone. I can't look at the phone. No, it's ridiculous. Who's the biggest crush you've had on someone? No, I mean, literally, it's just like.
I don't know. I don't like, I think
Your Scorpios are loyal to a fault.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever, because I wasn't really ever in the game of hooking up.
Right. How old were you when you got married?
29? No. 30. I was 29 when I met Leanne. And so, and there was a period of time. I got deflated. I don't know the right way to say this is, I had seen a girl on TV that I had said, I can't imagine the guy who's lucky enough to hook up with her. And then I hooked up with her and I was like, oh, this isn't, I got really too close to the trees. And I was like, once you get this close, you can see the brokenness. And I was like, ugh. And I kind
Let me guess, was she a porn star?
No.
Okay.
She was a actress.
Oh.
And
well, if you don't think porn stars are actresses, you're very wrong.
No. I've met a bunch of my favorite porn stars lately. And I said something one time to one, I go, I was trying to find the humor in it, but I go,
Are those the sprinklers? That's such a funny joke.
What?
When you said your thing about there's no porn in the world that when you're in the middle of having sex, the woman goes from a blowjob.
Oh, yeah.
Are the sprinklers on?
Are sprinklers on? We got to get him to change those days. I told one of the porn stars, I said, I think I'd be powerless over you. Like, I've never cheated on my wife, but I go, I think if you did if you made the move on me, I don't know how I'd react. It bothered my wife. She was like, that's like saying you cheat on me with her. And I said, no.
Right.
She goes, well, that's what you're saying. It sounds like that. And it's the only time my wife has the best sense of humor. But she goes, there's no one I'm powerless over. I go, what about Dwight Yoakam? And she was like, well, that's different.
Well, with or without the hat on. There's a whole bunch of power that gets put back
sadly,
as soon as the hat's off.
I think she likes him without the hat. My wife's got weird taste.
Can I tell you, my go-to fantasy guy, this was like my whole brain on aging. Oh, and by the way, when I met the military person. He literally came up to me and he's like, I had such a crush on you when I was a kid. And I'm like, normally I'm like, no, I will never hook up with anyone who could ask me whether or not the cat was real. You know what I mean? Like, no, big no. And then I'm like, how old are you? And he's like, I'm a grown ass man. I was in the army. And I'm like, oh, he could lift me. And
I'm a grown ass man.
I'm a grown ass man. I was like, fate.
I want to see a picture of this guy so bad.
I will show you a picture.
I see short hair, chiseled jawline.
No, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. It's like, I'm like, I have to look away. I'm like, he's so handsome. It's so stupid. Anyway, what were we talking about 1 second ago? Not him.
About crushes, porn stars. Yeah.
So my big crush, I thought James Gandolfini was the sexiest man on earth.
Yeah.
Not lean, like big, fat, disgusting Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Like, which also, I don't know what my subconscious is thinking. And I used to have this fantasy that I would have sex with him in a steam shower. Like I would have, the dream would come like once or twice a year. It was like, oh, I'm having my great. And I knew that I was getting much older. I woke up from having that dream and all I thought was, oh my God, the tile in that shower was so beautiful. And the grout matched it seamlessly. It's like, you couldn't even tell the difference in the colors. And I was like, all right. You don't have the go-to fantasy dream? And I agree with your wife. If you said you were powerless, she was saying it would have happened.
Yeah. But I wouldn't. I've never cheated on her,
and you wouldn't put yourself in the position. But you were saying to the girl,
I was saying to her because she was really beautiful. There are like people that I go, like I saw Charlize Theron in whatever the latest.
Charlize Theron movie.
Yeah, whatever it was. And I was like, Angelina Jolie.
Charlize dated a friend of mine in the 90s, many years ago. And I remember we were having dinner together and I thought, please stop sitting beside me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it bad that my agent's calling or good that my agent's
No, it's
calling?
good. What are they saying?
I don't know.
You've got another show. You've got another podcast. You've got another tour. You've got.
No, I think we sold a show yesterday.
This is the show I want to do. Maybe you can make it happen.
What's that?
It's called Virgin Travelers.
Keep going.
I want 7 people that have never left their town, and I want to take them somewhere.
Thought they're actual virgins.
Well, they probably are.
I don't know that. No, how much fun would that be? Well, I guess you can't test it.
Jesus.
Unless they're geishas.
Your show was so wrong.
No, Virgin Travelers. And I was just picturing
oh my God.
dudes.
I'm so naive. It didn't even occur to me that was what it was. Yeah.
Virgin dudes. Because I had a guy in my front row the other day. And I love this honesty. I said, we were talking about, I made a joke about dick size and what it's like to be a guy. The first time you realize you don't have a big dick when you walk into showers with the other guys, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? I've been working with too small of a sample size. It was me and my cousin. He's 5. Shit. And so I said to the guy, do you have a big dick? And he goes, no. And I said, well, wait, has anyone told you that? And he goes, no. I said, well, what have they said? And he's just very vulnerable. He goes, I'm a virgin. And I said, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I fucking love this guy. I love this guy. And then this girl, really hot, goes, I want to kiss him. And I was like, okay. And then she came over, sat on the stage, and they made out, and we put the spotlight on them, and the place went fucking bananas. And I just went, that guy just had the best, and he was by himself. He had this poor fucking kid.
See, those moments are greater. Those things, no one will understand that you can film anything, but nothing is more amazing than a live experience that will never be repeaed ever.
Yeah,
that we're the only people in the world experiencing at that time, and it's that crazy magic that happens.
It was really amazing, but I love virgins. Now I'm meaning that came out wrong.
Wow, please let that be the clip. Caroline Ray's on this week. I love virgins.
I've had 2 scenarios. That one, and I did a show for Spike one time, and the guy goes, and it was supposed to be like counter view, like I have 2 opposing views and I'm just hammering them. Tell me what you do. But it was weird things. It was like a guy who believes in zombies versus a guy who works at a funeral parlor. And so, but we had these 2 guys. I don't remember who the one guy is.
So it was a political show.
It was yeah. It was a real political show. It was all based on video games. It was called Fresh Baked Video Games.
Oh my
God. So I said to the one guy, how would you lost your virginity? And the guy goes, 17. I said, how about you? And he goes, 18. And then I go, okay, how many women have you been with? And then the other guy goes, hold on. I said, what? And he goes, I'm lying. I said, what? And he goes, I'm a virgin. I don't know why I lied. And I went, and it was the most beautiful moment you could have on a TV show. Never aired, never made it because they just take it out. They don't want to but I said, why did you lie? And he goes, just wanted you to think I was cool. He goes, I've never been in love, and it's like the most fucking awesome.
You know what? That's what it is. Like any sitcom in the world, you do it, and it's so fun. And the only magic really that happens on a sitcom, because you've rehearsed all week, is if you come up with a new line that moment.
Yeah.
Just like, when you're writing material and you have one new joke, it makes everything new.
Yeah.
But in stand-up, that magical thing that like, I was freaked out when I first started because I was like, I have a skill that I can't see. I can't practice it.
Yeah.
I can practice it by doing it. But it's that, and then the longer you do it and the more you trust that you're connected to wherever it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm a channel and it's going to come out. And
That's
then when it comes
crazy,
out like that, and that kind of magic happens where you get that virgin and the girl who kisses him, it's a higher high than anything anybody can experience.
Yeah.
That's why when I come off the road, I'm depressed.
We call it re-entry.
Yeah.
My wife calls it re-entry because you're on a vibration.
Yeah.
Like it is crazy that what you said, I can't really show you my talent. I can't really see it myself. I know that I can channel it when I need to.
Right. And I trust it. And even
sometimes you'll be telling a joke and you'll be like, why is that funny?
I know.
Why did that work?
You can't even tell. Or if you move your body in a particular way and you do some kind of physical comedy and people are so laughing and you're like, what was that? Yeah. I think that's what it is to do stand up this long. You have to really trust where it's coming from.
So when you're touring right now, what's your tour look like?
My tour is like nothing, weenie, like little tiny clubs, and I love it.
Yeah.
I literally have been.
How often are you out?
Like 3 weekends a month.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And do you do the full weekend or you just do one-nighters?
This weekend I'm going to, tonight I'm at the Irvine Improv.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then I haven't headlined there in like 20 years. You have to understand, Ava was born in 2008. I took 10 years off.
After her birth? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not giving up this time to not be with my child.
That's
and
great.
only now can I be okay. Like, I know she has plans on the weekends and it's okay to not be,
Is Kostaki here?
Yeah. And Kostaki tours a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might go to Edinburgh this summer and go and do it again.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm starting over in many ways. I'd never played the Comedy Store. I started playing it like a year ago.
Are you serious?
And now I love that club. It's such a great club.
It's such a great club.
No, I want to I love doing stand up again.
Yeah, that's so
You know what?
awesome.
My mom didn't have a voice at this age. I will never give mine up.
That's a very powerful statement.
No, it's true. Women, our voices are diminished as we age, and I will not buy into that. I think it's complete bullshit.
I wish I could shut my wife up. We should get you out of here. It's 12:30.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. What else do I need?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I fully understand my nephew's adoration of you.
For real?
For real. I think you're fantastic.
Oh, that makes
You're
me...
hilarious, and you are so fully authentic, which is such a word right up there with community, which makes me vomit. And when people say welcome in, I'm like, to the store. It's not a full fucking sentence to say welcome in. But I know that sounds pukey to say authentic, but you are.
Oh, thank
and I'm
you
very happy
much.
for all your success.
Oh, I am so blown away that I can know you. Because it's just you're
going to come to the next auction. Seriously,
I would love
I
that.
need you to come to a St. Jude auction in Florida in case you're there.
St. Jude is my guy.
Are you serious?
I'm a hardcore. I have an issue with the St. Jude people.
Oh,
because I offered to donate. I used to do this thing called waitstaff raffle at the end of my shows. I would pass around a bucket,
and
everyone would throw in money, and then we'd take all the waitresses and waiters' names on a piece of paper, and we'd pull one, and they'd win like $1,300, and it was a game changer.
Did they buy a calf?
No. No, but it was what they'd say they'd buy. Like one girl one time was like, "Oh my God, I can afford my diabetes medication," and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" One woman, the best one ever. Lexington, Kentucky, at the
upstairs
Comedy Off Broadway, I think it is.
Yeah.
And a black dude wins. Now, stereotypically, black dudes don't. Whenever they won, they wouldn't show emotion. They try to be cool and say something slick. And black dude wins, and he comes up. I think his name's Kevin, and he's like, "Nice, it's $900." He goes, "Nice, thank you," and he starts crying, and I go, "By this is how emotional I am. I could cry telling you this story." He goes, "Thank you." I go, "Kevin, you seem emotional." He goes, "Next weekend is my daughter's 13th birthday. I didn't have enough money to get her a present, let alone to throw her a party. And now with this money, I get to be the parent she thinks I am. And I'm like,
Bert.
Oh, I start sobbing. The crowd starts sobbing, and people start running $100 bills up to him. Just get her a fucking horse, man. Get her a pony. And it was like Bert. Just a wonderful. You can find it online. I'm sure I paraphrased it into a better story than it really is. But it was like wow. And so like that was
I used to love doing things like that when I had my talk show. The driver that I had was this beautiful girl.
Yeah.
She didn't have enough money for her mortgage. So I got one of our sponsors. I go, well, come see the show today. And he said, I know you're going through a hard time. And he gave her $7,000 on the show.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Anytime you get to be an assistant of a messenger of goodness,
yeah.
like grab it. Yeah. All right. I love you. I have to go. And I'm going to show you a picture of the guy.
All right. Perfect.